Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. A story. It was a warm afternoon by the river, and little Alice was starting to doze off while her sister read a rather dull book. Suddenly, something rushed past that caught her attention. A white rabbit with fur, a waistcoat, and even a small pocket watch. Strangest of all, he was muttering in a panic, oh dear, I shall be too late." Overcome by curiosity, Alice followed the rabbit without a second thought and tumbled down a deep, dark rabbit hole. When the fall finally ended, she found herself in a room filled with peculiar doors. The adventure began right away. A bottle marked "Drink Me" made her shrink instantly, making her too small to reach the key to the locked door. Then a cake labeled "Eat Me" made her grow to an enormous size, hitting her head on the ceiling. She became so distressed that her tears turned into a flood, creating a pool of tears that filled the room. Swimming in the pool, she met a mouse and other strange creatures. After finally figuring out how to control her size by nibbling on different sides of a mushroom, she continued her journey. Perched on a mushroom, she met a solemn, pipe-smoking caterpillar. He challenged her with the question, "Who are you?" When Alice couldn't answer, the caterpillar simply shrugged. Soon after, Alice stumbled upon the most nonsensical event imaginable, the Mad Tea Party. Here were the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and the snoozing Dormouse. They claimed it was always tea time, asked unanswerable riddles, and told absurd stories. Alice thought she had never met such rude and bizarre people. Leaving them behind, she walked through the woods and saw a grinning face fading in and out among the trees. The Cheshire Cat. The cat, who could disappear at will, informed her that everyone in Wonderland was mad and directed her towards the greatest chaos of all. Alice eventually arrived at the garden of the Queen of Hearts, where card soldiers were frantically painting white roses red. The Queen was a tyrannical, ill-tempered woman who constantly screamed off with his head. At the slightest offense, the Queen invited Alice to a game of croquet. It was the most ridiculous match. They used live flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. There were no real rules, and the Queen kept threatening to execute people. The climax came during the Queen's absurd trial over some stolen tarts. The witnesses, the Hatter and others, gave ridiculous testimony, and the Queen handed down arbitrary judgments. Alice had finally had enough of the nonsense. As the card soldiers rushed at her, Alice shouted, "You're nothing but a pack of cards." And just like that, the cards began to fly through the air and a strong wind blew. Alice suddenly realized she was lying on the riverbank, her head resting in her sister's lap. She opened her eyes and looked around. The sun was still shining and everything was perfectly normal. All those rabbits, mad parties, and queens. It had all been a long, strange, and wonderful dream she had fallen into while drowsing during her sister's tedious reading.